Okay guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Alright guys, it is Thursday, March 26th, and it is 8:35 p.m. Eastern Time. So the first point of business tonight, I guess, is the Q post. So that will be the first video. And I do have two other videos prepared. I have the first installment of iPet Goat, and I do have a news video, but I'm not going to be able to do all three. Now, I know that a lot of you have been asking about the iPet Goat 2, the in-depth evaluation of that. So that is what we're going to do next. I do believe, because it's a little bit of break from all this, and I think we all need a little bit of a break from what we're seeing. So that's what's on tap for tonight. All right, I do have people to thank, but I'm going to thank them at the end of this first video. So let's get to it. I present to you the Q post from today. All right, my hair is wet, not greasy. Just had to say that in case somebody's looking and going, ew, she hasn't even washed her hair. No, it's clean, I swear. No coronavirus in it or anything. Anyway, let's get to Q here. And here is the first one. It is drop 3899, and it says, "The silent war continues." That is from today. And let's go take a look at the link that he has provided for us. And here it is. And this is Educating Liberals, and I follow him on Twitter, a great person to follow. And let's look at this because Q is wanting us to take a look at this particular video on YouTube. It's about 4 minutes long, I do believe, so I think I'm okay to play that in its entirety, and that's what we're going to do. Okay, now, hang on here. I'm going to bring this up on YouTube so we can make it bigger, and all right. This is the video, and
although this virus may be very real, the panic that is being created is completely unwarranted. Crashing the market, frightening the citizens, and stressing out the population, all because a bunch of sadistic assholes want Trump out of office before he exposes their crimes. Somehow, they even managed to create a shortage on toilet paper products when there's not even one intestinal symptom to this virus. The media and the Democrats are playing us like a bunch of puppets, and all this is doing is revealing people's greed, pettiness, and selfishness. Meanwhile, while you wealthy liberal do-gooders smile as our economy falls and the events around the country shut down, the people that you claim to care about no longer get tips at work. They no longer get customers in their small businesses and are no longer able to pay their rent. I remember how the last pandemic went down, and Obama was a failure compared to how the president has handled this. No matter how you spin it, Trump was on top of this as well as anybody could have been. He took control of a black swan that nobody ever expected. It is damn well obvious that if Trump could walk on water, you snowflake traders would just say he couldn't swim. Whether you like him or hate him, you think this would be the time to drop the political charade and be part of the solution instead. Every Democrat politician and mainstream media source referred to this virus as the Wuhan or the China virus, and the internet is filled with examples. Yet you self-righteous media monkeys virtue signal us and call us racist. You have quite literally started getting your talking points from the Chinese Communist government-run media. You have to ask yourself, how and when did China get so much power over our country? However, none of this even compares to the actions of the junk-babbling harpy and her liberal sycophants. You act as if our president is not doing everything he should, and you blame him for your slow crawl. If there was ever a time where we need to work together for the people, it is now. The bill that goes to Senate should be fast, to the point, and clean. And somehow you think it's okay to add things like abortion funding into this bill, something that you know conservatives cannot be more against? This is political extortion, just another example of how little people matter to you. This means one of two things. You either have zero empathy for the common man, or you know that this pandemic is not as dire as you claim. While you think the majority of the population is falling for this ruse, let me tell you what the people are really noticing. We notice that the media is completely dishonest, creating panic when our leader is trying to create calmness. We see how the media is more focused on political semantics and disrespecting our president than they actually care about the threat. We realize that we are dependent not only on supplies from another country, but a country who was our enemy and started this whole problem to begin with. We realize that our economy is too easily influenced by a few wealthy people and we have a Federal Reserve System that does not care about uncontrollable circumstance. We see that the elite will happily watch us suffer for their needs, knowing that their financially secure situation can ride this pandemic out. We are becoming aware that colleges can be done from home and the expenses associated with higher education can be reduced to necessity without other needed costs. But most importantly, we realize how much we rely on others to survive it all. My friends, the truth lies in the reality that you see and hear in your daily routine. No matter how much the media tries to convince you otherwise, the truth is always in front of you, behind you, and around you. If you just turn off the television and the media for a few days, you will see the reality without the confusion of indoctrination and forced perspective. Take this quarantine and make the best of it, understanding that not all is what it seems. Put down your phones, enjoy the time with your families, and get to know one another again. Write the book that you've always talked about. Paint a work of art. Just enjoy the things that we have taken long for granted. These were the things that God wanted us to focus on anyways. This is a subtle opportunity to unplug ourselves from the economic and social matrix that we have become oblivious to. This event does not have to be something that holds us captive to fear. It can be a reminder of how fragile mankind can be, and something that brings us closer to things that are more important. It's a moment of humility as we start to notice again all the hardworking people that remove our waste, stock our grocery shelves, truck those goods across the nation, and grow our food from the seed. It is an opportunity to once again come together as a nation run by people rather than the people who are run by a nation. A chance to break the chains of a government-controlled world and once again become the many great nations under God.
Now, that is phenomenal video. Sorry for the language there, but I don't have any control over that. But let's go back here because, Trump is saying, or Q is saying rather, that the silent war continues. And this video is talking about this virus and the panic that is being caused. And now I wouldn't have agreed with that a few weeks ago, but I certainly do now. And I'm seeing it very, very clearly. Yes, this virus is real. I've talked to too many healthcare providers that say that, yes, people are dying. They're suffering with this. They're dying horrible deaths. There's no question about that. But is the amount of people that have passed away and that have contracted this worth shutting down the entire country, which puts others at risk? Because I know that right now there has to be a lot of people saying, how am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to feed my kids? Rent's due in a few days. Where's it going to come from? Now, I know that they have passed the bill that they were trying to pass, and that's wonderful. There's a whole lot of pork in it, which, I look at the other thing that they passed about the wall, and it had a lot of pork in it too, but then Trump managed to go in there and dismantle it later on, and I'm hoping that he will with some of the pork. I mean, they gave themselves a $25 million raise, the House. They give individuals $1,200, but they gave themselves a $25 million raise. Now, this isn't the Senate and Trump, and this is the House. So anyway, the silent war does continue because obviously the media is hyping this. They are overhyping it. I don't think, had they hyped it as much, that we would have had the shortages that we saw. Now, yes, I think that people have been programmed to, something's coming, I better stock up, myself included. That's why I told many of you that listen to me regularly to stock up way back when it first started. And I remember saying to you, I'm not trying to spread fear, but you need to be prepared. And it's not just the virus itself, it's the panic that it causes. And I do believe that this is being hyped now. I do believe that this is part of the silent war. Definitely this virus has been brought by the deep state, and they are the ones that are trying to hype it. Not that it's not a dire situation. It is. The virus is real, but the war was caused. The war that this has ensued, and Trump says he's a wartime president. He's in war against this virus, and that was caused by the deep state, I do believe. So absolutely, the silent war continues. So let's go on now to the next drop, and we come to 3900 again from today. And it says chapter 115, treason sedition, and subversive activities. Now, the first link that he has presented here is New York Times, and it has a very hard paywall, and so I'm not able to view the article because I don't want to give my money to the New York Times. It's unfortunate because some of these that I refer to often, I probably should get a subscription to, but on the other hand, I hate to reward their shoddy work. Really, I do. So anyway, so let's look at what Q is saying here, and then we're going to look at this link because it lays it out a whole lot better anyway. So he's saying 2381 is treason, 2381 treason, 2382 misprision of treason, 2383 rebellion or insurrection, 2384 seditious conspiracy, 2385 advocating overthrow of government, 2386 registration of certain organizations, 2387, that is not your cat that's meowing in the background, that is mine, that is Sammy. Sammy has a big mouth, and whenever I sit down to do this, he likes to let me know that he is not getting the attention that he believes that he so richly deserves. So that is the issue. He's got everything he would ever want, and he's fine. But if you hear a cat in the background, that's Sammy. And Xander is far too doped up to be able to respond. He is waiting for his surgery. All right, so seditious conspiracy, 2385, advocating overthrow of government, registration of certain organizations, 2387, activities affecting armed forces generally, 2388, activities affecting armed forces during war, 2389, recruiting for service against United States, 2390, enlistment to serve against United States. Now, let's go take a look at this link because I think it does a far better job of laying it out. All right, so this is uscode.house.gov, and the link has been provided by Q, and he goes over this chapter 115, treason, sedition, and subversive activities, and this goes through and basically says what each one is. Whoever owing allegiance to the United States levies war against them or adheres to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort within the United States or elsewhere, is guilty of treason and shall suffer death or be imprisoned not less than 5 years and fined under this title, but not less than $10,000, and shall be incapable of holding any office under the United States. Now, that kind of makes my heart sink a little bit because, if it were someone that, say, is in Congress or Senate and they were charged with treason, $10,000 fine would be nothing to them, absolutely nothing. That wouldn't even register to them like a bee sting. I mean, it would be nothing. So, and they'd be incapable of holding office. Now, that's a bonus. But we'll see. I don't know in the end who is going to be charged with treason and who isn't, but there's a lot more than just treason here. Misprision of treason, whoever owing allegiance to the United States and having knowledge of the commission of any treason against them conceals and does not, as soon as may be, disclose and make known the same to the President or some judge of the United States or to the governor or to some judge or justice of a particular state, is guilty of misprision of treason and shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 7 years or both. All right. And rebellion or insurrection, whoever incites, sets on foot, assists, or engages in any rebellion or insurrection against the authority of the United States or the laws thereof, or gives aid or comfort thereto, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 10 years or both, and shall be incapable of holding any office under the United States. Seditious conspiracy. if two or more persons in any state or territory or in any place subject to the jurisdiction of the United States conspire to overthrow. Now, this is important because this applies to a good many of them. Because they have conspired to overthrow, put down, or to destroy by force the government of the United States, right? And they have tried to overthrow a duly elected president for nothing that he's done wrong. They've made it up. Okay, so destroy by force the government of the United States, or to levy war against them, or to oppose by force the authority thereof, or by force to prevent, hinder, or delay the execution of any law of the United States, or by force to seize, take, or possess any property of the United States contrary to the June 25th, 1948 chapter, whatever. All right, that's not really what we're concerned about. We are concerned with these definitions. Advocating overthrow of government. Whoever knowingly or willfully advocates, abets, advises, or teaches. My gosh, you would think that cat has lost its last friend. Sammy, come here. I'm so sorry. The cats live here too. So, I've had people suggest that I lock them in a room or something. You don't know cats. You can't just lock cats in a room and think that they'll be quiet then. Oh, yeah, that doesn't work. All right, whoever advocating overthrow of government, whoever knowingly or willfully advocates, abets, advises, or teaches the duty, necessity, desirability, or propriety of overthrowing or destroying the government of the United States or the government of any state, territory, district, or possession thereof, or the government of any political subdivision therein by force or violence, or by the assassination of any officer of any such government, or whoever with intent to cause to overthrow or destruction of any government prints, publishes, edits, issues, circulates, sells, distributes, or publicly displays any written or printed matter advocating, advising, or teaching the duty, necessity, desirability, or propriety of overthrowing or destroying any government in the United States by force or violence, or attempts to do so, or whoever organizes or helps or attempts to organize any society, group, or assembly of persons who teach, advocate, or encourage the overthrow or destruction of any such government by force or violence, or becomes or is a member of or affiliates with any such society, group, or assembly of persons, knowing the purposes thereof, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 25 years or both, and shall be ineligible for employment by the United States or any department or agency thereof for the 5 years next following the conviction. If two or more persons conspire to commit any offense named in this section, each shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 25 years or both, and shall be ineligible for employment by the United States, any department or agency thereof for 5 years next following his conviction. As used in this section, the terms organizes and organize with respect to any society, group, or assembly of persons include the recruiting of new members, the forming of new units, and the regrouping or expansion of existing clubs, classes, and other units of such society, group, or assembly of persons. So this is interesting, and I guess probably some of these people will be able to be tried under treason. And that could end in death. So, or imprisonment. But, I think it has to be pretty serious to hang, so to speak. But we know that what they've done is extremely serious, and they have meant to destroy America. That was the plan. So, yeah, interesting that. Now let's go back here. It's interesting that he has a lot. Now, this isn't the first time that Q has directed us toward this section, the section covering treason and sedition and insurrection, etc. So I think that's very important. He's telling us something. We know that the indictments have been unsealed. We have seen several things that point to that has been communicated, that it's been unsealed. And so I think that things will start to move. I think that the White Hats are using this opportunity, the cover of the CV, the virus, to round up these people. And we see a lot of Hollywood weirdness surrounding that. I don't believe that the people that are saying that they have CV, maybe one or two of them do. I don't think Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson have it. I think that they are being detained. I think he is being detained because now all her videos are of herself only. So there's something up with that. All right, now we are going to move to the next drop here, and it is drop 3901. It's a redrop, Patriot versus Traitor. And we've seen this actually more than a couple times, I believe. Q has alluded or directed us to this. It's got a picture of an American flag and the definition of both a patriot and a traitor. So Q is clearly indicating the difference between a patriot and a traitor, and those traitors are going to be dealt with. So what is a patriot? A patriot is a person who loves, supports, and defends his or her country and its interests with devotion. 2, a person who regards himself or herself as a defender, especially of individual rights, against presumed interference by the federal government. So that is a patriot. What is a traitor? A traitor is a person who betrays another cause. A traitor is a person who betrays another, a cause, or any trust. A person who commits treason by betraying his or her country. How many of them do we have right now in the government that have literally betrayed their country? A lot. And some of them are no longer in government, but they are most definitely traitors. Comey, McCabe, Clinton, Obama. So we only have to wait and see what their recompense is going to be going forward, but I don't imagine it's going to be real positive. So I'm going to pause this video right now because I do have to intercept something right now. So I will be back, and you won't even really notice the pause, I promise you. Okay, I'm back, and I guess let me see. You probably don't even know how long I was gone. I could have been gone an hour. I could have been gone 5 minutes. You don't know. I could have been gone 3 days. No, I think you'd notice if I'd been gone 3 days. All right. So anyway, we looked at this one, and we're going to continue on with this one. And this is 3902, 3902. I know who this is directed toward, and it's that guy. I cannot remember his name. He's been telling everybody that he is Q, and people have even asked me about it. I don't understand how somebody can get taken in by someone like that, because Q has repeatedly told us no outside private communications. So what's this guy doing? He's communicating outside of the board. Anons have asked him repeatedly, hey, if you're Q, then you should be able to use this trip code and post on the board so that we know that it's you. Well, he never does that. Why? Because he can't, because he's not Q. And he looks like a very self-important, self-aggrandizing fool is what he looks like. He looks young, and it's obviously, I don't know if the deep state put him up to it or he's just a snot-nosed kid. I don't know, but he's not Q. He's not. So anyway, reminder, Q only communicates via the 8kun platform. Only. So if there's somebody on another platform like Twitter or Facebook saying, hey, I'm Q, I can prove to you I'm Q. No, they can't. Because the one thing that they would need to do to prove that they were Q is to put something on the 8kun board. You know, and the Anon said, okay, well, then say this on the board or say that. Well, if he was Q, it'd be very easy for him to prove it, don't you think? But he won't, because he isn't. So anyway, Q is reminding us again, important, no private communications, past, present, or future. So, you know, I don't think that could be any clearer. At no time will Q ever communicate outside of this board. No communications made outside of this platform. That includes Twitter, because that's his favorite platform. And that includes Facebook or Instagram or anywhere else. Q does not communicate that way. Now, Q plus, Trump, he'll communicate different things with symbols and so forth, but Q, All right, so it says any claims that contradict the above should be considered fake news and disregarded immediately. Where we go one, we go all. Patriots. Now, this should finally put this to rest, because if that guy was Q, he could have put something on the board. Instead, we have the real Q, again, reiterating the fact that there are no outside communications. All right. So, I haven't even addressed that whole thing because I felt like it was beneath me to even address it, because I didn't feel like, you know, really, there was even a question there. It's like, is this guy Q? Well, no, I think everybody knows that, but apparently not everybody does. So I'm letting you know, he's not Q. He will never be Q. He only wishes he could be Q in his own mind. He's a legend in his own mind. That's it. All right, and Q says the following: infiltration. Now, this is drop 3903, and he says infiltration instead of invasion. So rather than this being an invasion, it is more of an infiltration. And where does that come from? Where does that line come from? Infiltration instead of invasion. Well, I'm going to show you. And hopefully you will find this. Oh, I hope I didn't. No, I didn't, did I? No, I didn't. Yay. Okay. Now, this is a speech by JFK. That is where that comes from. And it's a very famous speech that you will recognize immediately. The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive unwarranted concealment or of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is a very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. Isn't this exactly where we are today? That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it is in my control, and no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. But I do ask every publisher, every editor, and every newsman in the nation to re-examine his own standards and to recognize the nature of our country's peril. In times of war, the government and the press have customarily joined in an effort based largely on self-discipline to prevent unauthorized disclosures to the enemy. In time of clear and present danger, the courts have held that even the privileged rights of the First Amendment must yield to the public's need for national security. Today, no war has been declared, and however fierce the struggle may be, it may never be declared in the traditional fashion. Our way of life is under attack. Those who make themselves our enemy are advancing around the globe. The survival of our friends is in danger, and yet no war has been declared. No borders have been crossed by marching troops. No missiles have been fired. If the press is awaiting a declaration of war before it imposes the self-discipline of combat conditions, then I can only say that no war ever posed a greater threat to our security. If you are awaiting a finding of clear and present danger, then I can only say that the danger has never been more clear and its present has never been more imminent. It requires a change in outlook, a change in tactics, a change in missions by the government, by the people, by every businessman or labor leader, and by every newspaper. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, or on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned. No rumor is printed. No secret is revealed. It conducts the Cold War, in short, with a wartime discipline no democracy would ever hope or wish to match. Nevertheless, every democracy recognizes the necessary restraints of national security, and the question remains whether those restraints need to be more strictly observed if we are to oppose this kind of attack as well as outright invasion. Now, the reason why Q has said infiltration instead of invasion is because we are exactly, JFK knew what was going on. He knew about the cabal. He knew about the secret societies. He knew what was going on, and they killed him. So this is where we are again. And if a man or a woman could, they would take out our president. And that is frightening. It's frightening. And because no one since JFK has addressed this at all until Trump. And that is exactly what we're facing. We are being infiltrated, and it's not by troops. And it's more by guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. This is so well written. It's probably one of the best speeches ever written. And it goes on a lot further. There's a lot that he says here that is absolutely phenomenal. But that I wanted to get to that point because when I read that, I thought, where have I heard that before? And it's here. It's here in this speech. And I believe that Q wanted us, he used that so that it would refer us to here. Yeah, he could have left the link, but, I still think that it bespeaks, it speaks to this, really, JFK's very grand speech here. So this is exactly what we're facing. And I mean, no one could put it as eloquently as JFK. So anyway, let's go back here because we know that describes exactly what we're facing here. infiltration instead of invasion. So that is it for the Q post, and I do want to thank a few people. And actually, you guys, you've made me cry because so many of these people put in their comments for Xander. And for those of you that don't know, my cat is facing surgery. He's got, it's a, what's it called again? It is called, let me see here. I can't even remember. Femoral head ostectomy. That's what he needs to have. The ball of his femur, where it fits into this hip socket, has completely dissolved. And apparently this is a kind of a symptom of, neutering them too soon. I had no idea. Now, Xander was already neutered when I got him from the shelter. So, that's not my fault. But anyway, it doesn't matter whose fault it is. I've still got a cat that's very, very sick, in a lot of pain. And because the vets are the only surgery that they're allowed to perform is if the animal is in imminent danger of dying. Well, Xander's not in imminent danger of dying, but he's very, very uncomfortable. And the vet did provide pain medication, but it might be up to 2 weeks before before he can do the surgery, just because of these restrictions going on because of the virus. So you guys have been so good. And most of these donations had notes that for Xander. And that just really touched me that you would care about my cat. And of course I do. I love the little guy, and I certainly don't want him to be in pain. And I know this surgery was certainly not anything that I was expecting. The vet at first thought it was just a soft tissue damage, but it's turned out to be much worse than that, and it has to be fixed. There's no question. And his prognosis is very good for a long, happy, healthy life once he has his surgery. So I definitely am going to go ahead with it. Anyway, I want to thank the following coffee donors. Denise, Barb from Cincinnati. I think that's Barb B from Cincinnati, if I'm not mistaken. And Donald Lowndes. I'm not sure about the last name, Donald, forgive me. Not real good with names. Deanna Raleigh and Mrs. Beasley, which I believe is either a cat or a dog, because, well, that's what I think. I think it's I don't know, could be a dog too. Wendy Anderson, Anon, Ellie Bressner, and Crazy Cat Lady. Now listen, Crazy Cat Lady, don't put crazy in front of cat lady. There's nothing crazy at all with loving cats. Lots of people do. So there you go. Ursa Bruin, Joanne DeVay, thank you very much. Lori, Farrell H, Marilyn Ott, and Dahlia. Thank you guys so very much. I have put that aside for Xander, and I am well on my way to having what I need to get him fixed up. So thank you so much. That really touched me, like, big time. So I thank you guys so much. You are awesome listeners. All right, well, that is it for tonight for that video. Anyway, I am coming back to do another video, so I will be back. Watch for me. And that's it for tonight. You guys stay safe, stay well, stay blessed, and keep seeking truth, because why would you want to seek out lies? Nobody wants to. Well, maybe some do. Don't know. Good night, guys.